Hey, Rebecca and Everett with Livable Vans here. Here's a tour of our latest conversion that is for sale. Our passion for building vans began a few years ago after we converted our own and traveled for over a year while working from the road. Everett and I learned a ton while living together full-time in our tiny home, and those nuggets of wisdom helped us design a space with everything you need and nothing you don't. At the crux of it all is reliability. We want you to enjoy your own adventures worry-free, which is why we put as much care into what's behind the walls as we do into everything you can see. This van is a new 2022 Ford Transit 350. It has all-wheel drive and is the high roof extended model. In our two previous videos, you can get a more in-depth look at how we insulate with 3M Thinsulate and why we prefer to use rib nuts wherever possible instead of self-tapping screws. When you first enter, you're in the galley area. We have butcher block countertops on both sides that provide a generous amount of counter space to comfortably cook and prep meals. Our multi-purpose stovetop cover is made out of black walnut and has its own custom black walnut hook. It protects the cooktop so you have full use of the counter when not cooking. It works as a backsplash while using the stove, and while we travel, we will use this as a tray in bed or as an outside table by resting it on our step stool. Under this side of the counter, we have our main storage area. All of our upper and lower cabinets are made out of 3/4-inch Baltic birch plywood, with the drawers and doors being made out of 1/2-inch A-grade plywood. We use leather poles for a contemporary look, and we feel are more practical so you're not bumping into any handles that stick out. Each drawer is on a full extension slide and has an adjustable tension latch to keep them shut. We have two larger drawers to store appliances like an Instapot, toaster, blender, and your pots and pans. With these stowing heavier items, we've installed two adjustable latches to keep everything secure. We also have a built-in on this side for extra storage or a place to put your personal items. Overall, we feel it's important to have a place for everything so you're living in a clutter-free environment. On the passenger side, we have a couple of outlets. One by the entrance with two dimmable light switches for the front ceiling and under cabinet light, and the other outlet is above the counter with a switch to control the back ceiling light. On the other side, we have a black composite granite sink that is 20 inches by 15.5. We feel it's essential to have a full-size sink so you can fit your pots and pans. The water pump switch is located on the gang switch, and to get filtered water, all you do is turn the faucet all the way to cold.
This fridge is an isotherm Cruise 85. It has 3 cubic feet of capacity with a small freezer and runs on DC power. We've installed this fridge with plenty of ventilation in mind, so the heat that's created by the compressor can escape so that it will run more efficiently. Not wanting to waste any space, we designed this little storage area underneath the fridge where you can see we routed out lines in the toe kick to help with additional airflow around the fridge. Under the sink, we've installed a small trash can and a fire extinguisher. We run all the plumbing lines where they're easily accessible but out of the way. Here we have a HEPA valve that works as a P-trap, preventing any odors from coming in from the gray water tank. From there, the water runs to the 15-gallon gray water tank under the van. With this layout, there is plenty of storage space at the bottom of the cabinet. We've installed a Frizz Life 3-stage water filtration system. This will provide great tasting and clean drinking water.
We have another built-in on the driver's side and a GFCI outlet next to the water heater switch. This turns on a 2.5-gallon Bosch water heater. Next to that is a gang switch. This is equipped with 2 USB ports, a 12-volt outlet, and 4 switches that control the water pump, WeBoost, and the upper and lower LED strip lights. On the side of the sink, we have a magnet board that we framed out in cherrywood. You can attach spice jars and other things, and we'll show you a little later why it was placed here. Now on to our upper cabinets. We made these handles out of cherrywood, and each cabinet has a dimmable LED puck light underneath. All are equipped with gas struts to support the door and a magnet to keep it shut. For additional security, we installed a guardrail in each one to prevent anything from falling out when it's opened. As you can see, the back and bottom of the cabinets can be removed if necessary to get to the wires or the puck lights. We also ran a 12-gauge wire behind these cabinets from the fuse box that is unattached. Should you wish to add something in the future, this will make the process much easier. And just to show you the standing height inside this van, Everett is 6'3", and the ceiling tops out around 6'5". In the front of the van, instead of making a headliner shelf, we prefer to enclose the space for a cleaner look. There is generous storage space in here for your van-made gear shades, extra clothing, and any items you wish to have easy access to. We installed a Scopima swivel base on the passenger seat. We love the ease and smoothness of this product, and it adds another seating area in the van. Under the seat, we have the Webasto 2000 STC, which was put in by a certified installer. This heater taps into the van's gas tank, so there's no additional fuel source needed. We also added the air intake silencer to reduce noise and prevent anything from getting into the intake hose. You can control the heater through the wall-mounted Webasto Smart Temp digital controller or by an app on your phone. The bathroom was built using metal studs and Curdy board, which we go into more detail about in our 2 previous videos. We use an extra long shower pan that is 24 by 40 instead of the normal 24 by 32, just to make it a bit more comfortable and spacious. We've installed a Nautilus self-cleaning shower door. We'll leave a little gap at the top to allow steam to be sucked out by the fan. And we have an Oxygenics handheld shower, which creates more pressure while using less water. We have a Nature's Head composting toilet that does not need to be removed while taking a shower. And here we installed a handy clothesline. When we were traveling, we found this to be invaluable. To show you the size of the shower, like I mentioned earlier, Everett is 6'3" and 210 pounds and fits pretty comfortably in it. Back to the magnet board. We have this placed here because we always like to have access to the shower mixer. This way, if anything were to go wrong with it in the future, having access through here would only take a few hours to change, versus having to cut a hole through the wall or inside of the shower wall. Not that we anticipate anything going wrong, we just like to be prepared if it does. Under the sink, we created this small door in the shower wall. If you ever suspected there might be a leak, you could just open this up and feel around inside to be sure. Having a secure place to store your valuables while you go on a long hike or spend time at the beach is an important aspect for us. That's why we installed this hidden safe. All you do is pull this drawer out, reach underneath it, and pop off this facade that's hiding the safe. This back section just might be our favorite part of this layout. It can be used for lounging, dining, or a place to work. We have our custom cherrywood tabletop that we built and have it mounted on a lagoon stand. This enables you to rotate the table 360 degrees or swing it out of the way to get in and out of the seating area. Underneath, we have a couple of USB ports and an additional outlet so you can plug in your laptop while working. We've installed a WeBoost Drive Reach RV. This is a cell phone signal booster. If you're in a location with only 1 bar of service, this will help you get a few bars and a stronger signal. Since this isn't something that's used all the time, we didn't want it hanging on the wall. Instead, we found a home for it in our cabinet here. All you do is feed it through the handle and place it next to you while you work. Inside the cabinet with the WeBoost is a laundry area that we've lined with cedar planks. The WeBoost is hardwired to the gang switch, so if you want to use this while this area is in bed mode, you're still able to turn it off so it's not running through the night. The antenna is mounted on top of the van, and we have some ventilation holes above the WeBoost. And just a quick note, this front panel can be removed if you need to get to the WeBoost or maybe change the USB socket in the future. Under the driver's side bench, we have our storage compartments. The first one is for the bedding, trifold cushion, and bed extension, and the other one is for whatever is needed. It's a great place to store seasonal items, backpacks, and anything that you don't need to get to daily. Our custom cushions were fabricated by our upholsterer, who is the best, using Sunbrella fabric, which is stain and fade resistant. We didn't want any stiff tubing in the fabric, so we opted for a soft piping around the edges to ensure nothing would be digging into your skin while you sleep at night. The foam used is a superior quality that is commonly found in boats and RVs for bedding, so it's very comfortable, And each cushion is tailored with hidden zippers so that the covers can be easily removed. One aspect we particularly enjoy about this layout is the two modes we've dubbed daytime and nighttime. In daytime mode, you have seating in the dining area, and in nighttime mode, it transforms into a bedroom, creating two completely different spaces. The bed is 65 inches wide by 75 inches long, which is made possible with the bed extension that we created. And while in bed mode, it's great to have these upper LED strips for a softer nighttime light. It would be nice to have a permanent bed, but in such a small space, you have to decide what your needs are. And for this design, we wouldn't want to give up the dining/lounge area and the extra counter space we get with this layout. Typically making the bed up at night only takes less than 5 minutes, which we've always felt was worth it. And while living in such a small space, we like having the feeling that it changes from day to night. The bed extension is placed between the two counters, giving you an extra 15 inches of bed length, which in turn gives you an extra 15 inches of counter space on each side during the day. And this is what it looks like completely built with the bed extension. The bed extension has felt pads under the braces that rest on the counter to prevent scratching, and Velcro to keep the trifold cushion from moving during the night. When making the bed, you just put the bed extension in and place a trifold cushion on top. And to remove it, you simply detach the Velcro and store the cushion and bed extension away. With this design, you're still able to reach the drawers and access the refrigerator while in bed mode. Each side has its own reading light that has a USB outlet to charge your phone through the night. On the passenger side, you can use the bunk window shelf as a nightstand for your water, phone, or whatever you need. One thing we discovered while traveling that always stuck with us was the fact that the driver's side didn't have a good place for the phone at night. So that's why we've customized this hidden nightstand. So at night you just pop this door off, you can have a small place for your phone and earbuds while charging it to the reading light. We made this hidden cabinet because it sits behind the cushion during the day, and if we didn't put a cover on it, it could dig into the upholstery, possibly damaging it. In the morning, you just pop the cover back on and put the cushion in place. Since the small nightstand isn't big enough for a water bottle, we built this flip-up drink table, so at night you can pop this up and have a place for your water. Also, while in bed mode, if you want to turn on the Webasto heater, you simply click the button while still in bed. This build comes equipped with van-made gear shades for every window, including the Max Air fan. We've explored other brands, but nothing compares to the van-made gear shades. They fit perfectly, work well for insulating the windows, and are great for blocking out light. With the shades in, you can't even tell all the lights are on. For those warmer locations, we've installed the Dometic RTX 2000, which is a 12-volt DC-powered air conditioner. There's no need to be hooked up to shore power to run this AC, as it will run off of your batteries. Up front in the van, we have the Max Air Fan Deluxe, and it can be fully operated with a remote control. These fans have 10 speeds, which you can use to pull air in or circulate it out, and are great because they come with a rain cover, so you can still use it in inclement weather. In such a small space, lighting is key, which is why we install as many options as possible. We have these toe kick lights, ceiling lights up front, under cabinet lighting, and in the back we have both ceiling lights and LED strips. Everything is dimmable and on separate switches. The LED strips for the floor and ceiling are hardwired to the gang switch, which is nice to have at night to flip on from the bed if you have to use the bathroom. Maintaining a consistent homey feel is key, which is why we like to add pops of fabric to cover up the door covers and the exposed metal in the rear.
All of our electrical is housed in the passenger side bench in the back of the van. When designing this electrical compartment, it was important to organize all the contents in such a way that everything is accessible. And in our opinion, we use top-of-the-line brands with Battle-Born batteries and Victron components. One of our primary concerns is making sure the cabinet is well ventilated. So we cut holes for the DC to DC charger, the solar charge controller, and the inverter. We also created an opening under the inverter to bring in air from the garage, which we cover with a removable screen. And we add a bit of aluminum behind the DC to DC charger and the solar charge controller, since these generate some heat. In this build, we've used two Battle-Born GC3 heated lithium batteries. Each battery has 270 amp hours, which gives you a total of 540 amp hours available. And we've installed a switch so you can turn on the internal heating of these batteries. This enables you to charge the batteries if the internal temperature were to get below 25 degrees Fahrenheit. From the battery, the positive wire runs through a 400 amp A&L fuse and then to the main on and off switch. The negative wire runs to the shunt, which calculates how much power is left in the batteries. From there, they both go into the Victron Links distributor, which is basically a glorified bus bar. From here, all your components get their power. If you take the cover off, you can see each one has a separate fuse installed. We have the Victron MultiPlus 3000 inverter. This will convert your battery's DC power to AC power so you can use the 110 household outlets. Also, this enables you to charge the batteries from shore power, where we've installed a 30 amp power inlet. You can plug this in at a campground site or just put the 15 amp adapter on and plug into any 110 outlet to charge your batteries. Next, we have the Victron Smart Solar Charge Controller. This will regulate the current from the solar panels to the batteries to prevent overcharging. We've installed 600 watts of solar power with these panels made by Renogy, and we have them mounted on this AVC rig roof rack. We also have a solar disconnect switch if you ever needed to cut the solar power coming in. Another power source is this Victron Orion DC to DC charger, which provides 30 amps of power whenever the van is running. This takes power generated by the van's alternator to charge your batteries, and we run it from the van's consumer connection point on the side of the driver's seat. Ford does have a fuse for this connection point, but they are extremely difficult to get to. So we added a fuse that is a little smaller than the Ford one, so if anything happens, this fuse will pop first and would only take a minute to change. Here we have our distro box that houses all our breakers and DC fuses. This makes it easy to get to. Each one of our 110 outlets are 20 amps and they each have a separate 20 amp breaker. This is a bit overbuilt, but you can never be too cautious. That's why all our wiring in the van is done with marine grade double insulated wire. And if you ever needed to get in the back of the distro box, this top is easily removable. Also, with the Victron app, you're able to monitor this whole system through your phone. In the upper cabinets, we have what we call our control center. In here you have a Victron digital multi-controller. This is where you turn the inverter on and off. Under that is a Victron battery monitor, and at the bottom is a fresh water gauge so you can always monitor how much water you have. In here we also have remotes for the air conditioner, the LED strip lights to control the brightness, and the max air fan. So to get to the main area of the plumbing, you just open the driver's side bench. Then just remove these bottom panels, which will give you access to the plumbing. Throughout the plumbing we use PEX piping and shark bite fittings. We have a 30-gallon freshwater tank, and from the tank the water runs to the Seaflow water pump, then to the Seaflow accumulator, which provides a more consistent water supply. From there the water heads to the sink and shower or goes into the 2.5-gallon Bosch hot water heater. And if you ever needed to empty the water tank, you can just open this valve and the water would drain out the bottom of the van. This is also where the air vent for the tank runs out and the hot water pressure release line. If you need to winterize this fan, we go over this a bit in an earlier video, but the short version is you run all the water out of the system, and for the remaining water left in the heater we use this fitting that you can open up and siphon all the remaining water out.
In the back of the van, we have a garage for storage. We designed it so this wall can be removed in the unlikely event the water tank or heater needs to be replaced. The other side is also removable. This is where we have the electrical system grounded to the chassis and the shore power outlet. You can just reach under to turn on the lights if needed. We feel this garage area is important if traveling for an extended period of time. When we were on the road, we stored plenty of outdoor gear, tools, and other items. It's great to be able to toss bulkier and dirty stuff back here so it's not in the living space. Back here is also where you would fill up your fresh water tank. You can have someone read the water gauge inside while it's filling up, but what we always did was just open this door and look at the water level of the tank to know when it's full. We like to use a gravity fill hatch. This is something we discovered while traveling. We would have a 5-gallon jug with us, so if we needed a small amount of water to top off the tank or wanted some extra for a long stay out somewhere, it was easy to find a freshwater vending machine and then fill up the tank with the gravity fill. It's just a nice option to have. Back here, we've also added an outdoor sprayer.
To release our 15-gallon gray water tank, we have a motorized ball valve. The button is located behind the driver's seat so you can reach it while in or out of the van. So if you're dumping responsibly, you can use this method. But if you're at a campground, this is frowned upon. So we attach this quick release so you can go to the RV dump station and empty the gray water into that. You just connect this quick release, hit the button, and you're good to go. This is easy to attach, and when you're done, you just snap the ends together and store it in the garage. We've added all new season tires and rims for better traction and a sharper look. We have Method rims and Falcon Wild Peak all-terrain tires. These tires are slightly bigger than the original ones, but they have the same load rating as the factory tires. This is important because the load rating determines how much weight these tires can handle. The spare tire also has a Falcon Wild Peak on it. We also have added the Airlift 5000 Ultimate Air Suspension Kit. This replaces the van's bump stops with these air springs, which will help stabilize the van while you drive. They eliminate sag, swaying, and bottoming out and creates a much smoother ride. To adjust the airlift, we place the valve stem behind each back tire. You just use an air compressor to fill them up to the level you want.
We've installed a couple of C.R. Lawrence windows. Back here we have our half-slider bunk window, and up front we have the T-vent window and the sliding door.
Thanks for watching, and if you have any interest in seeing how this van conversion was built, we'll link the 2 previous videos below.
And there'll be a link in the description with the complete sale details of this build, and if you're interested in having us convert your van, you can reach us at livablevans.com.
Later.